The world is much bigger than what we usually see on a map. Behind the misty mountains and deep oceans lie wonders that amaze even the most seasoned travelers. Every steep cliff, every lake that changes color in the sunlight is a testament to the magical power of nature. Not every place is crowded with tourists. There are places that are almost forgotten by the world. It is these lands that bring a sense of awe and evoke the purest spirit of exploration. Let's embark on a journey to admire the most spectacular wonders of this planet. Avenue of the Babaabs is a famous road lined with dozens of ancient baobab trees standing upright, each reaching around 98 feet tall in dry, open land. These baobabs are hundreds of years old and were once part of a dense forest before most of it was cleared away over time. The thick trunks work like natural water tanks, storing thousands of gallons to help the trees survive through long, dry seasons. Baobab branches grow upward like roots, so locals call them upside-down trees, creating a strange and fascinating visual form. At sunrise or sunset, golden light hits the trunks, turning the scene into something magical, like a picture from ancient legend. Though there is no human architecture, the straight tree rows feel like a natural avenue shaped by an invisible hand. Lensos Maranhenses National Park is the only place on Earth that looks like a desert but is filled with water. It covers over 580 square miles and is made up of thousands of white sand dunes reaching up to 130 feet tall. During the rainy season, rainwater gathers between the dunes because of a clay layer that stops it from sinking. Some lagoons are as deep as 10 feet and last only a few months before drying up in the dry season. This creates a strange contrast between dry sand and cool water, making the scenery feel both surreal and full of life. Standing between the white sand and green water, people feel like they are living in a peaceful dream, where time stands still and everything is quiet. Kirkjufel is a mountain with a unique shape, like a spear tip, standing alone by the sea, and known as one of the most photographed in Iceland. In winter, the northern lights appear above its snowy peak, creating a surreal view that feels like a gateway to a fairy tale world. During summer, the sun does not set for many days, making the peak glow all night with a mysterious and magical light. The area around the mountain is home to seabirds and mountain sheep, typical of cold region ecosystems. In Icelandic culture, the shape of the mountain reminds people of an old church dome, and it is tied to ancient Norse legends. Kirkjufel is a meeting point between natural wonders and the deep respect people have for untouched beauty. Lake Retta stands out for its bright pink color caused by Dunaliella salina, a bacteria that produces red-orange pigment under strong sun and high salinity. The lake's color is not stable. It changes throughout the day, creating a vivid and surreal landscape. No fish can live in the lake, but bacteria and algae grow strongly, proving life can survive in harsh places. Chocolate Hills is a group of over 1,200 cone-shaped hills, each about 100 to 160 feet tall, spread across a vast, open landscape. During the dry season, grass on the hilltops turns dark brown, making the area appear like thousands of giant chocolate mounds rising from earth. What makes them special is how identical their shapes and sizes are, forming a strange and rare natural repetition across the landscape. The surrounding area still holds patches of secondary forest, home to wild birds, insects, and some small reptiles adapted to this ecosystem. Local legends say the hills were formed from tears, or battles between ancient giant beings who once lived on this sacred land. Today, the site is strictly protected as a rare geological treasure, with controlled walkways to prevent harmful impacts from tourism. Waitomo Glowworm Caves is a limestone cave system over 30 million years old, known for its underground river, stalactites, and bioluminescent glowworms. Inside the cave, thousands of glowing worms create a galaxy-like scene floating in the quiet, dark space beneath the earth. The soft blue light comes from a chemical reaction that glowworms use to lure prey in total darkness. As boats drift slowly through the underground river, visitors feel like they are floating through a starry sky deep within the planet. These glowworms are a native species, surviving by catching insects in silk threads and thriving in the cave's moist limestone environment. The cave was once considered sacred by indigenous people and linked to the world of ancestors and ancient spiritual legends. Wave rock is a giant granite rock shaped like a wave, about 49 feet high and stretching over 360 feet across ancient dry land in Australia. This rock formed over 270 million years ago through slow weathering and natural erosion caused by constant rainwater and wind. Its wave-like curve was created as softer rock beneath eroded faster than the harder rock above, forming a unique arch shape. Wave rock's surface has grey, black, yellow and brown stripes formed by minerals left behind as water flowed down over centuries. What makes it special is that no other rock nearby shares this shape, making it stand out like a natural sculpture in isolation. For travelers, Wave Rock is not only a unique photo spot, but also a place that inspires deep reflection on time and nature's quiet beauty. Sundung Cave is the largest natural cave in the world, stretching over 5 miles long, about 660 feet tall and 500 feet wide, large enough to fit a 40-story building. Inside the cave is its own ecosystem with a jungle, an underground river, and huge stalagmite walls formed over millions of years. One of its strangest features is the natural skylights that let sunlight enter, creating life zones for trees and unique creatures. The cave is home to eyeless fish and bats that live in darkness year-round, showing how nature can adapt in surprising ways. Because of its rare ecological and scientific value, only a limited number of visitors are allowed each year to protect the fragile environment. Son Dung Cave is not just a wonder of Vietnam, but a global treasure that must be preserved. Mcmmero Dry Valleys is one of the driest and harshest places on Earth, located in a frozen land but without any snow cover. Rainfall here is lower than in many deserts, averaging less than 4 inches per year. These life forms suggest the possibility that life could exist on other planets, where conditions are also dry, cold, and harsh like here. Qinghaihe Shil is a vast, wild land with an average elevation of over 15,000 feet, where the harsh climate and landscape have stayed unchanged for thousands of years. It features frozen plains, silver salt lakes, snow-covered mountains, and dry grasslands, forming a surreal scene rare on Earth. This is home to the Tibetan antelope, a symbol of the plateau, along with snow leopards, brown bears, and many rare migratory birds. The area holds a nearly untouched ecosystem with no human interference, making it one of the wildest places in the world. For local people, this place is sacred and seen as where souls return, protected by ancient legends. Now recognized as a World Natural Heritage Site, this region is strictly managed with monitoring, wildlife protection, and anti-poaching efforts to keep it wild for future generations. Komodo National Park is the only place in the world where Komodo dragons still live, the largest reptiles on Earth, reaching about 10 feet long and weighing 200 pounds. The park's isolated position in a wild ocean makes it feel like a living prehistoric world. There are rare pink sand beaches and wave-shaped rocky hills stretching for miles, forming a landscape unlike anywhere else. Under the sea, a diverse coral reef ecosystem with hundreds of fish and marine species makes the ocean a living museum. Every moment here reminds us of the need to protect the wild thing that are slowly disappearing. The Yuan rice terraces sit nearly 6,500 feet above sea level and were built entirely by hand over more than 1,300 years by ethnic people. Each rice field shows different colors depending on depth, sunlight, and soil, creating a moving natural painting that never repeats. Amazingly, the irrigation system runs only on natural flow and has worked well for generations without modern machines. At sunset, red clouds drift above the water-filled terraces, making it feel like entering a dreamlike world. This place is not just farmland, but a living symbol of patience, wisdom, and harmony between people and land. Many visitors feel deeply moved and awakened when standing before this wonder, as if reconnecting with nature's pure origins. Hillia is one of the most active volcanoes in the world, having erupted non-stop for 35 years. Hot lava flowing from its crater forms glowing rivers of fire running through forests, reaching the sea, and creating black rock fields for miles. The scene of lava pouring into the ocean and turning into steam clouds is one of the rarest sights on Earth. Despite the harsh environment, native plants still grow on volcanic rock, showing nature's ability to recover. In local culture, this place is home to Pele, the volcano goddess, who is honored as the spirit of the land. Today, the area is strictly protected with controlled visitor routes to ensure safety and preserve the adapting ecosystem between fire and stone. Dalol is one of the hottest and strangest places on Earth, with average temperatures reaching up to 94 degrees Fahrenheit all year round. This is one of the few places on the planet where sulfuric acid, steam, and toxic gases constantly rise from underground. The ground surfaces here appear in green, lemon yellow, and reddish brown due to mineral deposits like sulfur, iron, and potassium from thermal springs and acid pools. Scientists have compared Dalol to Mars because its geology and climate are very similar to that of another planet. For travelers, seeing this land in person is an overwhelming experience that increases awareness of nature's beauty and danger. Rorima Tapoui is an ancient tabletop mountain with steep cliffs about 1,300 feet tall, formed over 2 billion years ago. It is one of the oldest geological areas on Earth, standing like a sky island above the vast rainforest. The summit is often covered in mist, with crystal-clear pools and strange rock shapes creating a surreal atmosphere. Because it has been isolated for millions of years, it has unique life forms like eyeless frogs, ancient moss, and carnivorous plants found only here. Reaching it requires crossing forests and climbing steep mountains, making it a real adventure. Today, conservation efforts include limiting visitors, using expert guides, and protecting fragile ecosystems to preserve its untouched natural beauty. Jang Dangsia formed over 20 million years as iron manganese and copper-rich sandstone layers rose and eroded into rainbow stripes. At sunrise and sunset, the slopes flare with fiery colors, while cloudy days mute them like ink-wash paintings, so no moment looks the same. Cliffs about 1,200 feet high create a maze of ridges and slots where drought-hardy shrubs, saltgrass and Eurasian larks survive on mineral-rich soil. The area covers roughly 124 square miles and once marked a Red Fortress landmark for traders on the Silk Road. White Sands National Park is the only place on Earth with a giant gypsum desert covering up to 275 square miles, forming a pure white sea of sand stretching to the horizon. Unlike regular sand that absorbs heat, the gypsum sand here reflects sunlight and stays cool even when air temperatures go over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. On full moon nights, the sand reflects moonlight and makes the entire desert glow like daytime, creating a rare and magical scene. The animals and plants here have evolved to adapt to the white world by turning white to hide from predators. Winds constantly shape the dunes into new forms, making the desert look like a living painting that changes all the time. Another strange thing is when the sand grains rub together, they can make soft, deep sounds like natural singing. Painted dunes is one of the rare geological wonders where dunes are formed from oxidized volcanic ash, creating layers of red, orange, yellow, and pink earth spread over ancient basalt. Cooled lava flows mixed with oxygen-rich air change the minerals over time, creating a landscape like a vivid painting across the dry volcanic land. Seen from above, painted dunes looks like a fabric painted with natural watercolor patterns. When the sun rises or sets, sunlight makes the whole area glow with bright colors. Even with harsh conditions, some lichen moss and volcanic insects survive on the rock surface, showing amazing life adaptation. For native people, this place was once seen as the trace left by the spirit of the volcano after each eruption. Lord Howe is a crescent volcanic island in the Tasman Sea, about 370 miles from Australia and roughly 7 miles long, sheltering a clear lagoon behind the southernmost fringing reef on Earth. Cliffs over 2,800 feet, warm rainforest, and white sand sit side by side, so the scenery changes wildly within a few steps. Ocean climate lets tropical coral live with temperate algae, creating a rare mixed ecosystem where more than half of the plants and birds are found nowhere else. Rules limit the island to about 400 residents and a fixed number of visitors each day. There are no streetlights and few cars, with bikes the normal way to move. Renewable power and a ban on plastic bags help keep the environment almost untouched, earning UNESCO recognition for combined geological and biological value. Fuji 5 Lakes lies below Mount Fuji and is one of the rare places where you can see the perfect reflection of the mountain on calm water. This magical scene only appears on days with especially clear weather, making visitors feel like they are standing between two worlds, one real one mirrored. In spring, cherry blossoms bloom around the lake, creating a fairy tale atmosphere, while in fall, the forests turn bright red and orange. The local ecosystem is rich with many rare birds, mountain animals, and native plants unique to the area. Since the Edo period, this area has been a spiritual destination, showing the deep connection between people and nature in Japanese culture. Today, strong conservation policies limit mass tourism and educate the public to help protect the original beauty and special cultural value of the region. Tubataha Reefs Natural Park is a pristine coral reserve, covering about 370 square miles in the Philippine Sea, accessible only a few months each year when the seas are calm. The name Tubataha, in the local fisherman's language, means continuous coral reef, reflecting two crescent-shaped reef rings surrounding emerald lagoons and deep ocean floors. The most spectacular natural phenomenon is the park's unmatched biodiversity, with over 600 fish species, 360 coral species, alongside sharks, sea turtles, and rare migratory birds gathering in clear waters. For visitors, diving among vast coral gardens is an awe-inspiring and sacred experience, awakening a deep awareness of the value and responsibility to conserve natural beauty. The Banawi rice terraces were carefully carved into mountainsides at about 5,000 feet high and are a living proof of ancient farming wisdom. This terrace system was built completely by hand thousands of years ago and still works well with a mountain-fed irrigation system. During harvest season, the valley glows golden as sunlight reflects on each layer of rice fields, like mirrors, beaders of nature. More than farming structures, these terraces support biodiversity with many bird species, helpful insects, and native plants living around the fields. Local people still keep traditional farming rituals, honor their ancestors, and teach ancient techniques to the next generations. This area is protected through eco-tourism, community education, and sustainable farming programs to fight the effects of climate change and urban development. The Amazon rainforest in Brazil covers over 11,000 square miles and is the largest tropical rainforest ecosystem on Earth with unmatched biodiversity. Tree layers reach up to 130 feet high, forming a green roof that catches sunlight, with mid-story undergrowth housing birds and small animals, and lower canopy retaining moisture and preventing erosion. A unique phenomenon called nurse log occurs when fallen ancient trees continue living through their roots, creating ecological corridors for other species. A network of rivers and streams acts like veins feeding the forest, and floods rapidly transform riverside landscapes. Entering the forest feels like being enveloped by endless greenery and fresh, humid air, while hearing leaves rustle and wildlife stir. This experience makes people deeply aware of the inseparable bond between themselves and nature. Yellowstone is the first national park in the world, located on top of a giant supervolcano that is still active. This place is famous for over 1,000 geothermal features, such as hot springs, geysers, boiling mud, and thermal vents, including colorful springs with blue, yellow, and red, created by heat-loving bacteria. The landscape includes forests, waterfalls, deep canyons, and vast grasslands, showing wild and majestic beauty. It is one of the few places on Earth where ecosystems, from flatlands to high mountains and geothermal land, exist together. Yellowstone is also home to grizzly bears, wolves, bison, moose, and many rare birds. For native people, this land was sacred, with many legends about the hot springs and the breath of the earth. Lapland frozen trees is one of the most surreal sights on Earth, where frozen trees become giant icy sculptures with strange and haunting shapes. When temperatures fall below -40 degrees Fahrenheit, wind and humidity cover the trees with thick snow and ice, forming unique shapes. Some trees bend like kneeling figures, while others rise like frozen towers, all standing silently in a white, endless space. When low Arctic sunlight hits the snow, the entire forest glows in soft purple-orange and pale blue colors. This scenery makes people feel like they are lost in another world where time and physical reality no longer exist. Many visitors feel deeply moved while standing in the frozen forest, where beauty cannot be fully explained by logic or reason. Vaatu is called the Sea of Stars because at night the water glows blue, making people feel a galaxy drifts under their feet. The glow comes from single-celled dinoflagellate algae that light up when waves or footsteps stir them, using an enzyme called luciferin with oxygen. Night water stays near 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and waves under 1 foot high create perfect conditions for millions of tiny creatures to gather near the sand. Unlike places with only faint dots, the algae here are so dense that the whole sea surface turns bright neon blue, enough to light bare feet. Nika Crystal Cave is one of the strangest caves in the world, where giant gypsum crystals can reach 39 feet long and weigh over 55 tons. These giant crystals were formed in special conditions with hot mineral water, rich in sulfate, and steady high temperature for hundreds of thousands of years. Some ancient microbes were found inside the crystals and may have been asleep for over 60,000 years. Lake Hillia is famous for its bright pink color that does not change all year. Even when the water is taken out, the color stays the same in a magical way. The pink color is believed to come from a mix of halobacteria living in the salt layer and Dunaliella salina algae that produce pigment under strong light. The lake was first recorded in the early 19th century and is now strictly protected with no open access or harvesting allowed to keep it untouched.